you for joining us for our 9th Friday forum. We have these Small Business Friday forums Fridays at 12:30 in the afternoon. We figured that this would be a great way of keeping everybody together, especially various organizations and businesses and even residents of Rockland County, to get very valuable and useful information as we go through the current COVID-19 pandemic. It looks like the worst of it at the moment is starting to subside. I want to be cautiously optimistic about that, and we should all continue to be safe, practice social distancing, shelter in place, all the guidelines that we've heard over the past several months, and listening to our local and governmental leaders to try and make sure that we are protected and also we protect others in the process. So I'll just share my screen. This Small Business Friday Forum series is sponsored by the Chamber Alliance, I'm sorry, from the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County, as well as the Chamber Alliance of Rockland. The Workforce Development Board, it's an organization that is responsible for providing resources and funding in some cases. I'm just going to bring up the website very briefly. For a variety of organizations in Rockland County. During the COVID-19 pandemic, they've been a valuable resource for information for individuals as well as employers so that they can help navigate through the crisis, both as from a health standpoint as well as an economic standpoint. So we thank the Workforce Development Board for sponsoring and championing the event, and helps us to keep it going for the foreseeable future at the moment. As well as the Chamber Alliance of Rockland, which is a consortium of the multiple chambers of commerce throughout Rockland County. And that's, to name a few, Nanuet, New City, Nyack, Suffern, North Rockland, Piermont, so there's a variety of Pearl River, and we have several of them with us today for this event. Our agenda today is we try to keep it as quick as possible because we know you got a lot of things going on, even though you may be staying at home. I tend to find, just looking at my calendar on a daily basis, time has yet again condensed. So we need to get back to work as quickly as possible and get things done. So we try to keep the information brief. All of these webcasts are available after the meeting is done on the Rockland Work website. It's located, Small Business Friday Forums. It's under the News tab. If you click there, and you can see a replay of each and every one of these small business forums. We had a really nice one last week where we had several local businesses, retailers up in Rockland County, restaurants that are conducting their reopenings, but in a very safe fashion. For instance, trying to do curbside pickup, making sure that masks and other items are in place to prevent the spread of COVID-19. It was a really nice, really good set of interviews that we did. So our agenda for this one, how Rockland chambers are helping. So as I mentioned, we have several chambers of commerce that are with us today, and we'll have a discussion with the Chamber Alliance of Rockland on how each individual chamber that's in the meeting today is helping their local community to be able to navigate through the crisis as it starts to slowly but surely draw down, getting back to work, getting the economic engine going again, because I'm sure that we're all antsy to get back to work and do things outdoors, especially on this beautiful day. I mean, it's, you know, the lighting right now is a little bit not noticeable, but I look out the window and it's 80+ degrees. It's beautiful. And that's just a signal that even though we got to be safe, it's probably a time that we can start, you know, heading out to the parks a little bit. That's just my opinion. And but get the mask on, keep away from people, get a water gun, keep them away that way, whatever it takes to just keep them 6 feet away. But you know, get some fresh air. We need some oxygen from my perspective. Also want to welcome, as always, Deborah Thomas. She's in the meeting with us. She's the Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board of Rockland, as well as the Rockland Teachers Center Institute. So Debbie, thanks for being with us again.
And thank you, Tom. And special thanks to all of our chamber leaders out there for all that you're doing every day for our businesses in our community. We depend on you, and we thank you so much for being with us today.
All right, wonderful. And Debbie has been integral in connecting the Friday forums with a variety of individuals that are on the board, such as Access VR, the Rockland County Career Center, to name a few. So we're very appreciative of that. Thank you for that. Okay, so getting right into it, let's talk about the Chamber Alliance of Rockland. And I just wanted to introduce a few people here. I'm going to switch my screen so I could see everyone. So the Chamber Alliance of Rockland, I am not the creator, founder, or anything like that. I just participate on as a volunteer. Very thankful that Risa, George, Susan have allowed me to be on the group with them. So the Chamber Alliance essentially is a kind of like a loose connection of the individual chambers of commerce. And periodically, typically once a month or once a quarter, we get together and we have a networking meeting. In normal circumstances, we'd be at a Banchetto feast, or maybe a Joe and Joe's in Pearl River, or some other nice place where we can go and congregate and invite a whole bunch of our own chamber members to get together, have some food, maybe some seltzer or some other drink, and and connect and perhaps do business as follow-up thereafter. So you see on the screen, you have a list of 8 different chambers of commerce. I might have missed 1 or 2, but these are largely the ones that represent our alliance meetings to begin with. Now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we've kept in touch. We have Zoom meetings just like this, and we talk about how things are going within each Chamber of Commerce and sharing ideas with each other so that we can continually be able to improve our own communities. So to start off, I wanted to, and I guess maybe George, if you could maybe say a few words about the Chamber Alliance of Rockland, because I should not be talking so much.
George is muted.
Let me unmute you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the board of and treasurer for the Nanuet Chamber, and also as president of a charity that we started, Nanuet and Beyond. And a couple of things we've been doing during COVID is we've raised a lot of money just in general donations through Nanuet and Beyond, and selling lawn signs to thank our healthcare workers and essential workers. And what we've been doing is going out and buying food or getting restaurants to partially donate food and bringing them around to all the essential workers, including not only the 2 hospitals who are kind of fooded out, but most recently, last week, I think it was Friday, and this past Wednesday, we gave away free ice cream to all the workers during their shift changes from 6 to 8 at the 2 respective hospitals, and they loved it. But we've also done stuff for the police department, the sheriff department, ambulance, Rockland EMS, UPS hub, the 2 post offices, Bardonia and Nanuet, just to remind them that, hey, we appreciate everything they're doing, because there's a lot of people that we don't recognize that are doing work every single day to keep the economy alive as best they can. As far as, I'm going to try to keep this short, Clarkstown, and I just sent this to all the other chambers, next Thursday morning from 9:30 to 11, Clarkstown is having a webinar called Reopening Clarkstown, where we'll have George Holman, the town supervisor, the town attorney, the town building inspector, who can also answer fire questions, the town planner, Tom Morley, who is the SBDC Rockland Regional Center representative. Susan Farese will be the moderator for representing the Nanuet Chamber, and Roxanne Perone will represent the New City Chamber to answer questions and talk about the steps that we're doing and what can be done and what has to be done in order to open. As we know that Governor Cuomo has extended the stay at home until June 13th, but certain regions are able to open, and Rockland has got 5 out of 7 of the parameters that were there to be able to reopen fully, but we can reopen in phases, and that's what we're going to talk about and tell people what they need to do to be able to do that. So that's what we're doing.
Great. Thank you, George. Now, just as a quick aside, I hope I don't put you on the spot, but since you're here and you're one of the founders of the Chamber Alliance, so how did the whole process start? Was it just an internal conversation where?
Chamber Alliance?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about, when we did networking events, you get the same 10 or 12, 13, maybe if you got lucky, 25 people, 30 people from your own chamber. And after a while, that wasn't being productive because it was the same people talking to the same people. And so we thought that we'd reach out to the other chambers to see if there's a way to network a greater organization. And this actually started out a number of years ago where we did a summer event at the shops in Nanuet and invited all the chambers. And we treat all the other chamber members as if you're a member of Pearl River, you committed a chamber member price. If you're a member of, NIAC, you committed a chamber member price. So it didn't matter what chamber you belong to. We basically said you committed whatever the discounted price is for any chamber member. And the idea was to get people to network so that, hey, if I was looking for a plumber, it wasn't just, maybe I didn't have someone in Nanuet who came to the meetings, but hey, I met someone from Haverstraw, I met someone from Pearl River or whatever, and that was the whole intent, so that businesses could network with each other. And we got a lot of positive feedback. When we did the events, we did them quarterly, we'd get 100, 110 people attend, which was great. Again, the cost was break even basically, but it was enough to get people there to network and things like that. So that's how it started. And then we reached out, we talked about, do we want to formalize it? But we figured let's just go with what we're doing right now. So
Loose Alliance. I always liked it to Game of Thrones sort of format.
Yeah, right, kind of.
So, but yeah, I mean, and everybody that participates board-wise and the people that come to the events, they're pretty good. They commiserate pretty nicely. So it's been 3-4 years,
Yeah, about that. And, we share, hey, did we try this? This didn't work for us. It may have worked for someone else. Well, what did you do differently? I mean, the idea is that we're all here to help the business communities. And so if somebody does something, and it works for them, hey, maybe we can adapt it or vice versa. That's what the whole alliance is meant to be, is so that we can share ideas across the county, and do what we can for businesses.
I noticed Susan isn't here, and justifiably so, because over the last several weeks, from what I understand from the meetings, she has been very
all over the place. Yeah, she's been all over the place. Obviously, with these signs, giving out the signs that people purchase, and then delivering and coordinating the food to these various places that what I mentioned earlier. So I mean, she's been. The Energizer Bunny would be putting it mildly, So, she's a little crazy. Yeah, Martina.
I have a question regarding the signs. Can I ask you how many you sold and how often do you advertise so people get back to the signs? Because Suffern did also, we have also signs.
Right.
I just wanted to see, how did you do that? You got so many sold?
Well, we sold, it was 425 signs. We sold $20 a piece. And as I said, we bought them through Nanuet and Beyond as a charity. So we didn't have to pay sales tax. So that profit went to, minus the credit card fees, went to us being able to buy the stuff. We advertised it on Facebook, not only the Nanuet Chamber, but Nanuet and Beyond Facebook, the Junior Chamber of Commerce. And that's something that, I don't want to take too much time, but we work with the Nanuet School District and we created a club called the Junior Chamber of Commerce. And these kids have been phenomenal. and been extremely motivated, extremely involved. And so they've been advertising it to their friends and things like that. Obviously, we're all inside, and so they can't go out knocking on doors. But
Of course.
yeah, but that's what we did. We just advertised it that way. We'd send out some email blasts, but we weren't doing any media, as in newspaper or anything like that.
Yeah, social media and emails, you're saying.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
George, thank you for putting together the Chamber Alliance of Rockland in coordination with Risa.
Right, and Susan, yeah.
You guys do wonderful work. I'm just happy to be on with you guys. So cool. I'll go in pretty much the order that I got the notes back from the various chambers. So the Nanuet Chamber isn't with us at the moment, but they were in a meeting that we just had a little while ago for the Chamber Alliance of Rockland. So we'll mention this just very briefly. Over the coming weeks, while the reopening continues to occur across Rockland, the Nanuet Farmers Market will slowly but surely be reopening. I'll just leave it at that. But if you need more information about that, please contact the Nanuet Chamber of Commerce, and they can provide you details on when and how the reopenings will occur for the Nanuet Farmers Market. Next up, we have the North Rockland Chamber of Commerce. We have Stephanie Melowski. Is she here with us? Hey, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Great. How's it going with North Rockland?
It's going, as I mentioned, I'll be brief. Like so North Rockland, I consider, Stony Point and Haverstraw are the two main towns that North Rockland is composed of. And Stony Point, the supervisor, Jim Monahan, has put together a task force for reopening and has included the North Rockland Chamber on that task force. We've met virtually 2 times already and have, discussed different phases of the plans. One major topic of conversation was the opening of the golf course. With one in Stony Point was Patriot Hills, and that went over very well. The only the other thing discussed is also partnerships with the golf course and other businesses. The golf courses are open, but they can't sell food or beverages. So there was some talk of some kind of collaboration with a number of restaurants in the community to provide discounts or incentives to go to their to get takeout from them after a round of golf. And that being said, other businesses will probably be included in that as well. We just have to brainstorm as to what's the best way to go about that. We also were able to put together a nice donation for the emergency daycare center that one of the North Rockland members, Rockland YMCA, that they've staffed one of the daycare centers in West Haverstraw. We went to one of our local businesses, Paint Our Pottery, to get a bunch of paint sets to deliver to them, and they were absolutely thrilled. And we did that. Unfortunately, the day that we found out about Paul, and it's been a major loss to the entire Rockland community, and I just thought I'd make a mention of that. This being the Chamber Alliance, and I know many of us knew him very well in he was a resident of North Rockland, and he was on the board with me at the Rockland YMCA as well, and that was major loss and a major hit. So it's just been down kind of dealing with that. But that being said, North Rockland had a huge procession of cars that drove by his home in Thiels. They all met up in the parking lot of the North Rockland High School, and then it was very emotional to see all of the support for Paul's family. So that's what's been going on in North Rockland. Slowly but surely we will figure out this reopening, and thank you to everyone for your ideas. It's very important and helpful to me to hear what else is going on in Rockland to try and do the same here in North Rockland.
Definitely. And, with regards to Paul, I mentioned this last week in the Friday forum. So I happened to eavesdrop accidentally on a conversation that he had with another person that had just gotten elected or appointed. I forget which thing it was, but that person was asking Paul, he's like, what should I do? It's brand new. He says, and he said, Paul said to the new person, he says, always pick up the phone. He says, always pick up the phone. As long as you always pick up the phone, you will always be someone that's in a place of being able to serve the public. And it kind of resonated with me even to now. I mean, it's a good advice, not just for government, but also for business. And I can't say that I'm very good at always picking up the phone, but it's something to try and continually move towards, because people want to know that you want to talk with them and listen to them. So yeah.
I'm just going to jump in and add, I had built my entire, reputation on that. And I can't tell you how many people would call me knowing that I would get back to them, just saying, and they would start the conversation. I know you may not have the answer to this, but you know where to send me to get the right information. So it's just being that point person, it is really important. Your point is well taken.
Definitely. Next up, we have the Suffern Chamber of Commerce. Alexandria Evans, we have her on the line with us. Alexandria, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. Okay, so in Suffern Chamber, what we've been doing is, besides our chamber matching dollars from lawn sign sales for meals for frontliners and essential workers, we've also really ramped up social media promoting for members and non-members. We're also looking at other ideas such as a scavenger hunt, both virtual and eventually a live public event. But one really nice campaign that we launched is something that we kind of thought up to help lift spirits between business owners, local business owners, and residents. What we did was we asked business owners to send us a photo of themselves away from work, preferably outdoors, because everybody is really resonating with the outdoors. And a lot of them has sent in photos with their significant others in the front lawns of their homes. And we also asked them to share what it is that they're doing to help keep themselves and their families sane. And they also shared wishes for the community. We've posted these on the Suffern Chamber Facebook page as well as Instagram. And then we took these posts and shared them to a few other general public pages throughout Suffern. And I can tell you that it has gotten a great amount of engagement. People are liking, sharing, commenting, and then the business owners are commenting back, and it's really doing exactly what it was intended to do, to lift the spirits of everybody and also get to know a business owner that you may not necessarily know. Some of them actually live in Suffern, but some of them do not. And some of these residents have not been in some of these businesses. So it gave them a chance to really get to know these business owners and engage with one another virtually.
Mm-hmm. You also introduced us to several different organizations and entities that are, I'd say, on the cutting edge of trying to continually connect the community. I recall, I think it was in the last meeting, we had Sheila from Simplisk, if I'm not mistaken. Right.
So Sheila and Kevin Keenan, they have a company called Simplisk, and it is in Suffern. And what they've done lately is they created a website called the Main Street Marketplace. And it is there where any business throughout Rockland County can actually list their business. And it's pretty extensive. I mean, you can talk about what your business, you can tell what your business is about. If you wanted to launch a gift card campaign, there's multiple things that you could do. Tom, I don't know if you're able to pull that up or, you know, somehow get that on the virtual meeting so everybody can take a look at where to go. But we encourage, there's a lot of businesses on there right now throughout, again, like I said, Rockland County. And there it is. So you can actually enter a category or just look up your business, see if it's there. If it's not, you can easily list your business, regardless of what industry you're in or what field you're in.
They've gone across the county. I think the last time they mentioned there was about 250 or so individual businesses that have signed up for it. So nice.
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm. Let's actually grab a listing real quick and just see what happens. I'll just start from A for Alfredo's. He got lucky and he got chosen. So he's in New City. And then I think we open this, read message. Yeah. So a list of all the amenities there, as well as a link to their Facebook page. And you say that they're offering this for free at the moment, right?
Right. There's no charge. This actually was birthed right when COVID-19 was, you know, hitting the scene and shutting everyone down. And so Sheila and Kevin went to work, and they've really gotten the eye of Rockland Economic Development as well. So we'll see where that goes. But it's definitely a fantastic resource for businesses to enter their listings and for the general public to just, you know, find anything they need in Rockland County.
Great. Thank you for sharing those resources. And the one you mentioned before, the virtual piece, I'm very much looking forward to hearing more about that. I'll keep that to, you know, an ongoing conversation. We'll talk about that over the coming weeks, but
Okay, will do.
great job. And Alexandria and I are kind of like in the same type of space, social media, web, things like that. So it's always good talking with you about, you know, you see the, you have the view of what's happening down the road. So it's always
Yeah, like mine, Tom.
yeah. Cool.
I'll keep you guys posted. It's a fun idea.
Awesome. Okay, so and then also we have Aidan Hands. He's a board member of the Sloatsburg Chamber of Commerce. As I've mentioned before, Aidan's been in a few Friday forums with us. Known Aidan for about 20 years now. Aidan, one day we got to have a beer and come up with the actual count of how long we know each other. Another fun story. So I used to be the promoter for Aidan's band back in the 90s. And it was like a hard rock band. So just picture this. We're going to like a hard rock venue in New Jersey, and everybody's in their, like, you know, hard rock gear. Like an idiot, I show up in a suit and tie. It's not good for a mosh pit. Definitely not good for a mosh pit.
It wasn't just any suit and tie. It was a neon blue jacket.
Yeah. It was really bad.
I mean, the thing could light up a room.
Yeah, I didn't get many dates back then. Not now either. I'm happy, so I don't need any more dates. But it was pretty sad. But Aidan stuck through it, stayed friends with me all throughout, and I appreciate that. And not only is he quite the successful business person in the financial sector, but he's also now a board member of the Sloatsburg Chamber of Commerce. Aidan, can you tell us a little bit about the Sloatsburg Chamber, how things are going right now?
Well, I'm glad Mariana is here too, because she's been an important part of kind of keeping things going, and she helped set up a Zoom meeting for our board this past Monday. There she is. Because we kind of, I guess we kind of let things slide a little bit as a group, and we were missing a meeting, but she got us back on track, and we had a good meeting with an agenda. And right now we're working on some correspondence or postcards for folks in the community to let them know that the businesses in Sloatsburg are going to be up and running again, and that we're looking forward to serving the community again. And, you know, it's in committee kind of going back and forth with some revisions and suggestions. And That's the extent of it. Mariana, if you have anything else you want to add, please do.
Hi, this is my first time here, so I'm running social media for Sloatsburg Chamber, and I wanna thank you, Alex, from Suffern Chamber for support. Since the whole thing started, we've been working together with Alex Evans and exchanging information and analyzing data and lots of stuff. And I'm grateful for your support. It's been very crucial.
Of course, Mariana, of course.
I like the saying, always pick up the phone, because so many people have been contacting us through social media and asking questions. And sometimes I had no idea. So I've been looking for someone who would be the answer, like Alexandria, for example. She helped a lot with this kind of stuff. We've been doing a lot of support for food industry. It was priority. Lots of restaurants closed after a while. I've been in contact personally with all the businesses here, and personal touch is very important here, to talk to business owners and to ask questions about needs and advertising, post and uplift and everything. We've been celebrating our essential workers through the social media, our local essential workers, like post office, mail workers and nurses and everyone. Then
Possible, right?
what?
As many of the essential workers as possible.
Yes, yes. Sanitizer workers and everyone. We kind of small business, small chamber, so it's easy to go and cover everyone. So for, like Aidan said, we come up with the idea to stay in touch with our community. We come up with little cards with uplifting message, which gonna go to every household. Then we supporting local food pantry because in this crisis, they used to have a regular number of people, of clients, of families coming to them, like 119. It was regular. Now it's, last time it was 407, and they're getting ready for 500 families coming. And they're looking for a new home. They can't stay where they are because they grow so big, and I think the church where they are, they're falling apart. So they been working from Sloatsburg Village municipal building parking lot using U-Haul trucks. It's been difficult. So we came up with fundraiser, and we already raised $3,000 for that, $4,000. And we're trying to find home for them, which is unknown. I don't know how it's going to work out. But if you have any idea,
That's very difficult, Mariana,
Yeah.
because I mean, this is Mariana's talking about families in Suffern and Sloatsburg. You know, this increase between, you know, from 100 and some odd families to now over 400 and counting. So she just shared the information with me, and we're going to try to work together in finding a new home for this pantry.
Okay. I'm just curious. So the Suffern Chamber and the Sloatsburg Chamber, do you guys communicate regularly?
Yes.
Back and forth?
Mariana and I are very close. We are constantly, as soon as something comes up, you know, Suffern and Sloatsburg, we call ourselves the Trail Town Corridor. And so for years now, we have been working on this Explore Harriman campaign to bring in tourism. And ever since then, anything, it could have to do with the park, or it could be, you know, what's going on now. You know, we share with one another back and forth constantly.
I appreciate that. It was enormous support. Thank you.
Great. Well, let me just make sure that I got everyone. So we have Sloatsburg and Suffern, Nanuet. I think I got everyone. Did I miss anyone from any of the chambers? I think we're okay. There's several others, obviously, as I had mentioned. So you have the Pearl River Chamber of Commerce, New City, as I mentioned, Nyack, there's Piermont. So if you're watching this video and you're a community member or a small business owner that's a little unsure about how within your own community, the restart, the reboot, the resets, the start of our economy again is going to go, consider contacting your local Chamber of Commerce because they're typically a very valuable resource. I personally have been involved with the North Rockland Chamber of Commerce for, I'd say, a good decade now. You know, kind of like boasting, but I was there when we combined two chambers of commerce, the North Rockland Business Alliance with the Greater Haverstraw Chamber of Commerce, and we were able to put together the North Rockland Chamber. So it's kind of like very near and dear to my heart. But through George, Susan, Risa, been able to connect with a lot other chambers through the Chamber Alliance of Rockland. So each one of them is very integral and very connected with the community, usually has a good connection with the town supervisor or the town board to be able to talk about various issues within your organization. And right now, as I mentioned, it's very vital that we stay close and we get the right information when it's put out there so that we can get things going the right way over the next few months. So it's 1:06. Our next meeting, I figure we'll end here. Our next meeting will be on Friday, May 22nd. Next Friday at 12:30. Again, we always try between 30 and 45 minutes. So kind of in and out, and then you know, you can have lunch and head right back to work, which is typically one chair over to your left or right these days. But that'll hopefully change over the next few months. So, you know, I hope everybody is doing good and they're able to get a little bit of fresh air today, maybe over the weekend. You know, God bless you all. We will get through this, as we always say, but the way we'll get through this is to stay connected with each other and hope for a very nice summer in some way, shape, or form. So signing off for now. This meeting will be available on the Rockland Workforce Development Board website, as well as the Chamber Alliance of Rockland will be sharing it around over the next few days. So thanks again. And
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Have a nice week. Stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.